Hello, everyone. Welcome to the JAMAcast podcast. Just welcome to the podcast. I'm glad you're here. And of course, you know who else is here? Your regular good old hosts,
Caden,
Adam,
Morgan,
and today we have a very special guest,
Connor, aka TallLankyGuy.
Yo.
Yay!
Hey.
And of course, today on the podcast, it is sponsored by nothing because we're open to sponsorships. Please email us.
Lucerne, Minute Maid juice, that'd be fucking sweet.
Webkinz?
Webkinz.
Yo.
Let's go.
Webkinz. I would kill for a Webkinz
Mr.
sponsorship.
Noodle?
I feel like if you actually killed, that would probably hurt your chances of getting a Webkinz sponsorship.
You know, you
break it
make
to
a great point, actually.
I
That's
feel
true.
like if you're teaching children that they can just raise fucking tigers and dinosaurs and shit like that in a suburban house setting, kids should learn murder sooner or later.
You know,
You make a point.
you know what, not a great point, but you make a point.
That is technically an argument.
That is
That
an
is-
argument.
Yeah.
That is a discussion.
I mean, one day they'll come to their suburban home where their Bengal tiger and their T-Rex are hanging out with each other. They'll leave, they'll go to the grocery store to get some food for their pet. They'll come back, and one or the other will be dead.
But can you confirm that it was because of the other?
Well,
If you left and didn't see the death take place, then you cannot say for certain that it was the fault of either the Bengal tiger or the T-Rex.
I mean, it
Any
depends on the
variety
claw
of other
marks.
things could have happened.
The claw marks and the teeth marks.
I mean,
Those can be pretty damning evidence.
sure, okay, but I mean,
Yeah.
both tigers and dinosaurs have those.
Yeah, but they have different shaped. They're different.
But can you tell that from just teeth and claw marks?
Usually, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a dinosaur or a cop
Holy shit. I'm glad
or
we
a
can get this off
dinosaur
the
cop.
table.
Well,
I mean-
speaking of what we aren't,
Oh,
I mean, like, I'm not a magical entity. I'm not like the genie from Aladdin.
Which
And I
one?
kind of either. I would love to be Will Smith. I would love to be Robin Williams. Besides the, not here part.
Yeah.
That would be entertaining. Just being like this magical blue.
where are you
That's
going
where the
with this?
sentence ends.
Honestly,
Magical blue.
I'd like to be a magical blue as well. I mean, I'm
yeah.
wearing the shirt.
That is
Yeah.
a magical blue.
This is a magical blue.
You've done it.
I've done it.
Congratulations.
We already made it, Reddit.
Damn, we did.
All right. So,
So,
question for the guest of honor.
Ooh.
we honor
So
you.
you recently have started streaming
I
on
did.
Twitch.television.
That's
So-
the full URL.
Yeah, so it's the shortened version.
Mm.
Is twitch.tv.
Yeah.
So in your experience as a small start out streamer, what because you stream very consistently actually.
Yeah. I don't
pretty
stream for
much.
super long, but I like to make it at least like frequently over the course of the week.
Yeah. And you're pretty consistent. It's interesting. Cuz when people start out streaming on Twitch, they can kind of get discouraged because it's like consistency is difficult when you're trying to gain your first audience.
Yeah.
And when you start from like, oh, this is my Twitch channel, and stream after stream after stream of nothing starting out, right?
Uh-huh.
What keeps you going back to it?
The thing that keeps me going back to it is the fact that all of the hard things that you've described have already happened to me on YouTube.
Fair.
So I've like built up that resilience of having spent like 6 years on YouTube and still sitting at like under 130 subscribers.
Yeah.
And so when I started streaming on Twitch, I'm sorry, is there something funny that I've said?
Morgan and I were both just nodding along.
Okay, but then I was actually like starting nodding. God, okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Whoa. Sorry.
So yeah, so like I've got plenty of experience for having to make things knowing that chances are not very many people are going to show up. With that said, my first Twitch stream ever was rough.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know like kind of how to navigate the fact that I wasn't certain of who would be watching. And if I don't have anyone watching, then do I really need to be doing anything? Because it's very tiring to just be sitting there trying to be entertaining for an audience of 0.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that a lot.
Yeah. So that first day was very much like, it's kind of like in stand-up where every good stand-up comedian needs to bomb at least once.
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of my day. So from then on, I was just like, well, if no one's going to be watching, I at least want to be still enjoying myself. So that's why I started playing games like Death and Taxes, where I can keep myself busy with the actual game and just make it feel like I'm, playing a game and recording myself, which technically I still am.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then if people show up to watch while it's happening, then fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
More...
Well, yeah, because it's helpful that you've come from doing YouTube first and stuff like that, because then you're already used to just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Which is a really good thing to know first before getting into streaming. Yeah. And the same thing can be said vice versa. If you go in from streaming to then you start making YouTube content, that can have its own way of feeding into the other side.
Yeah.
But
I would say it would be even easier to switch from just streaming on Twitch to YouTube, because with Twitch, that footage disappears after like a week or something. Whereas with YouTube, you still have that thought of like, I've still got every video, or pretty much every video that I've ever made is still available. So that if at some point my channel starts growing, then that I've still got all of that content for people to watch.
Yeah.
And get the attention that it may or may not deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. More recently, I've decided, because like I get very discouraged with low view numbers, especially when I feel like I had sort of like this sort of almost like, I don't even say like a hot streak almost, where I actually had consistent viewers for a while.
Yeah.
And that kind of sort of died when I went away for a bit.
Yeah.
It's like with Twitch, you need to be so super hyper consistent in order to keep momentum. Because I also remember seeing, like you guys have probably heard of like Schlatt at this point, or Jay Schlatt.
Yeah.
He stopped streaming on Twitch because you get pigeonholed into doing one thing, because that's the only thing that gets you viewers. And then also it's so momentum based. If you don't keep up this momentum, you're not going to be like either getting as much viewers, or in the case of a lot of partners, making as much money. So you have to do this every day, and it feels like this big old obligation. And for me, I'm just trying now more than ever to do it when I feel like it, more or less, and turn off those view counts. Because the more that I like, now that I've turned off the view counts, I don't know how many people are watching at any given time. And it's a little freeing.
I find because I often will be like, when I'm streaming, more often than not, I'll be sitting there and I'll see, like, I kind of keep my dashboard up on my phone to keep track of things, and I'll often see that I have one viewer, but they're not saying anything. So, like, I get excited when people start interacting with me. If someone's watching and they're not saying anything, then they might as well just be watching the YouTube video that I'll make of it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though, in a way, like, lurkers on Twitch and I still very much agree that they're, like, the backbone in a way. Because while you do have those who will interact with your stream and who will, like, use emotes even through, like, channel points or use channel points at all, it's like, even the lurkers help increase also view averages, and the higher your views are, the more you get promoted, the momentum builds, all that. Yeah. But also at the same time, it's like, it's nice to, say, have like 5 or 6 viewers watching, but if those 5 or 6 viewers say nothing, it's like, you are still entertaining an audience, but not one that you're getting any feedback from, which I guess is kind of the difficult part.
Yeah. It's been nice. Yeah. I've recently been blessed by a bunch of weirdos that keep rating my streams. I don't know what they're thinking, but I appreciate them very much, and like, I hope they keep it up. Whoever they are.
Yeah, whoever.
I mean, they like you enough to do it, so.
Apparently.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, wow, this guy's tall and lanky?
And, the fact that he's a guy is neither here nor there, but.
Like, right. Tall and lanky. Yes.
Yeah. The other factor for me specifically that has kind of played into this is, like, I've got like 5 years of like live improv experience. Like, I did that all the way through university. Like, my 4th year, I was one of the hosts of the improv shows that we did every other week.
Yeah.
And so even then, like, we had shows where you had maybe 10, 15 people show up to a $3 improv show. And so you kind of had to, not only for your own sake, but also for the sake of the other players, kind of pick yourself back up and be like, we have some people, we have someone that's watching, let's give those people a good show.
Yeah.
And so that very much kind of postured me going into streaming, and, my channel started in my 2nd year of university on YouTube. So very much like it was kind of the same growth was happening on both platforms.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's just a really good way to look at it, is sort of like, it doesn't matter if I've got like 1 or 15. It's like, if you've got 1, then that one person should have as good of a show as those 15 people will.
That one person could be the person that sees your stuff and is like, hey, this is really neat, and then shares it to all their friends. And that's how you kind of manage to break out. You don't know that that's not going to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
That's showbiz, baby.
Well, what I've always said, and what I always like encourage everyone that I know to do, is like, when you're streaming and there's nobody there and you get in a rut and you're like not talking or something like that, well, the view count doesn't go up instantly when a person joins your stream, right? It's not instant. There could be, in the time that it says 0 viewers, it could have been like 7 or 8 people over the course of that time that popped in and saw you weren't talking or something like that, and just were like, okay, well, I guess I'll leave because this
Yeah.
isn't entertaining.
Yeah.
Even if it says 0 people, you've always still gotta just make the effort.
Yeah.
Because it's not like your average live show, right? Like, it's not, oh, this has started, everybody who's here is here and the doors are closed. No. This is open door. People can come and go as they please, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a whole thing of like, somebody pops in there, your number still says 0. But if you keep talking, that person might stay and find you interesting and start chatting.
Yeah.
And or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah, one of the unfortunate truths that I learned from my first stream was that, like, certain types of Twitch streams you can only really manage to do once you've already got like a consistent audience. So
Yeah.
like my first stream, I tried having a certain amount of time where I was just like, I didn't have a game going or anything. I was just chilling and asking people if, putting out like requests for things for me to play on the ukulele. And then like,
I think I remember that.
yeah,
I think I was there for that part.
yeah. And then even then I would get like halfway through playing a song and then get to the end and no one's watching. So I was like, okay, I'm going to save the chill and play music streams until I know that I can keep that momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
Until then, if no one's watching, I at least have a game to keep me busy with. Even if the game is Pokemon, where I'm just having a day where I've got to grind myself up to a certain point and it's not really advancing much.
Okay.
It's at least something to interact with.
Yeah. When I what are you looking at, Morgan?
I'm just seeing something on Twitter. Scientists have taught spinach to send emails.
What?
That
What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
That is the most Twitter thing I have ever heard.
I'm going on Twitter right now. What the hell does that mean?
What was that sentence?
Scientists have taught spinach to send emails.
What is the email?
I
What's in the
know.
email? Like,
Spinach?
is this like?
Do they just send the word spinach in an email?
Engineers have used nanotechnology, which allows plants to communicate with humans. The news has left people checking whether it's February 1st or April 1st. Okay, what the fuck?
There's a lot of things that need to be clarified here. What do we mean?
Plant-human communication is finally here, and it's wonderfully weird. Spinach has been engineered to send emails when it finds specific compounds.
Okay.
This tech could be used to detect landmines, pollution, and even upcoming droughts.
Okay. So it's like it's not
when
necessarily communication, it's just like we're able to read plants.
Yeah. Someone says, finally, I was going to scream if Spinach insisted on another meeting that should have been an email.
Nice. That's a very Twitter
Scientists
thing to
have
say.
taught Spinach to send emails, and it could warn us about climate change. That's
Why do we need spinach to warn us about climate change?
I mean, if they won't listen to the scientists, then maybe they'll listen to the spinach. Listen to your spinach, guys. It tells you about the world.
I'm sad about
we
the
dread
fact
to
that
think
makes
what our
sense.
office plants would have to say about our lackluster watering. Christ.
I mean,
Anyways.
that's a lot more interesting than me saying about how I was talking during my Minecraft stream. Significantly more interesting than me playing modded Minecraft and trying to explain how it works is
But also
Spinach can talk now.
But I also feel like none of us are qualified to actually dig into this.
It's cool, though.
It's neat.
Interesting.
Science is neat.
Got my attention.
Yeah,
Because
really.
then people can find out exactly how, like, plant networks work.
Sure.
I mean, I suppose. I mean,
Well, literally plants have what are called networks, like between other plants, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, fungus and mushrooms have a network where the mushrooms will communicate with each other and like find their nutrients
Holy shit.
underground and choose where to grow.
Katie, they're on a LAN party. It's a mushroom fungus LAN party. I mean,
Oh
okay,
my
anyways,
God.
to
the
be
thing
fair,
is, I hear things like this, and all my brain can do is be like, okay, cool. But I don't have like the knowledge or the expertise to be able to figure out like the implications of this.
yeah, because like, it's like, Katie works in a restaurant, Morgan works in retail, and like,
I'm a freaking arts student.
I don't.
I'm not a
and-
student, but I'm a
I was
artsy boy.
I was a theater student. I'm not sure any of us really know much about plants. I know that my strawberries over there are doing quite well, but that's
Nice.
about all I know.
I know that if I was making a fucking salad at work and the spinach sent me an email being like, please don't cut me, I'd probably be a little scared.
I mean, your first mistake was eating a salad with spinach in it.
Actually, I don't like spinach, so I
It's
won't
not
defend
good.
it. Fuck spinach. All my homies hate spinach.
All my
However,
all my homies
spinach
hate
with
spinach.
cranberries and feta cheese.
That's
That's pretty
only
good time
good
with with raspberry vinaigrette.
but that's only good because of all of the other parts of it.
But the taste of the spinach blended in with the cranberries and the feta is what makes it interesting.
Does spinach
I
taste like
guess.
anything though? I thought it was just
No.
air.
like
Spinach
spinach.
is like the most sour, acidic fucking leaf I've ever put in my mouth.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Weird.
I'm not a
what-
fan.
When
So,
I taste
like-
spinach, it just tastes like lettuce with no dreams left.
Exactly.
See, I think lettuce just tastes like water with attitude.
It's lettuce but corporate.
Corporate
Corporate lettuce!
What the fuck are you guys on about? What?
Holy shit! Spinach is corporate lettuce.
Yes.
I-
It's like
I-
it's like the leaf of fucking romaine lettuce comes up to your door and it's like a friggin'
It's
like
the
a
Wall Street
Jehovah's
vegetables.
Witness, but then the spinach
Yeah.
comes to your door in a suit with a briefcase trying to sell you a vacuum cleaner.
I'm tweeting this right now.
I mean, the only difference between a Mormon
did
coming
it.
up to your door and a vacuum salesman coming
I
up
love
to your
that.
door is a vacuum salesman sells you a vacuum. They're both wearing suits and have briefcases.
I mean,
Unless they're wearing backpacks, I guess.
ooh, backpacks.
Last time Jehovah's Witnesses came to my door, there was two of them and they were super cute, and one of them complimented my shirt.
Nice.
And then he was like, "Do you want to hear the good news?" I was like, "Nah, I'm gay."
Do you want to hear my good news?
So yeah, that was about the end of that one. Foot reveal.
I can't.
Wow.
I can't say I've ever had Jehovah's Witnesses come to my door here in Edmonton.
That would be pretty much impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, considering that this building has a buzzer at the front and keys.
They just buzz every single room. Would you like to hear the good word? Bzzz. Would you like to hear the good word? Bzzz.
I got mail in my inbox from some fucking dude in Saskatchewan wanting to tell me about the good news.
Nice.
I'm like,
What?
who the
Yeah.
who the fuck from Saskatchewan was like, oh yes, this random guy at Edmonton, he wants to hear about Jesus
The nice thing is
or Jehovah or whatever his name is. One of
the
those
nice
two.
thing is being a Christian, they can be like, "Have you heard the good news?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." What about it? I
Yes.
think we're thinking of two different pieces of good news. I've already got good news, so I don't need yours. Thanks.
my mom. We used to live in High River, which is a fun place. And we would get Jehovah's Witnesses there. And my family, my dad was a pastor. My mom, pastor's wife, obviously.
Mm.
Jehovah's Witnesses would come to the door. Would you like to hear the good news? And she would be like, "Oh, yes, come inside." And then she'd pull out her Bible and she would test them.
Oh, I like this.
And it was, she would have like a back and forth banter conversation with Jehovah's Witnesses and like other people that around the town, whatever. It was a thing. She would challenge them, and it was like her pride of the month was just like, all right, wonder if today will be the day, whether it's,
Are we gonna get one?
could be the postman, could be a Mormon. Let's go.
What if Morgan showed up at the door?
What if it was just
Morgan shows up at the door. Would you like to hear the good news? I got laid on Thursday.
Wow.
Yes, good news.
Woo!
Wow.
Good news.
Good news.
This is good news.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
Good. And how was it?
Very good.
How was your trip? Did you have fun?
I was fucking
Did you
tired. I
make
was
any
dead that
friends?
I didn't realize that he slept overnight in his car. I thought there would at least be a bed involved.
night. Yeah, so did I, honestly.
I mean, do
Wait,
they
you
live with their
slept
parents?
in your? Did you sleep in like?
Okay, then there you go.
What?
You slept in your car in the city?
Yeah. We were in like, it was a weird parking lot. Because like there was like a one way in, one way out kind of situation. So
Okay.
Mm,
All right.
And
makes
hotels
sense.
don't let in extra guests
Yeah.
besides the people that actually
paid
pay to initially rent out the room.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
So-
Fair
And
logistics.
and I wasn't gonna spend like $150 just to have sex.
Who does that?
You know, you make a good point. I mean,
But yeah, no, it was a good time.
Nice.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
A nice change of things.
Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
You went from months of sitting in the corner in your chair to
Months?
one night on the town and back to months of sitting in your corner in the
Yeah.
chair.
I mean, I'm in a relationship, and that's how it's been
Anyways,
lately. I mean,
Yeah.
my case is that the person that I would usually get laid with is in an entirely different continent. So, what are you gonna do?
Understandable.
that's a
Makes things
That
a little
is how that one
complicated.
works.
It's a little.
It's a little sus, not gonna lie.
It's not.
He's from Cambodia.
Well, her family's from India, and then she came to Canada for school, and then
Now
last
she's
year,
living in the UK.
no, and then last year her family, no, wait, so her family is originally from Mumbai.
You got this.
And then when she was
Yes.
10 years old, they moved to Cairo, and then
My favorite location from Indiana Jones.
sure. And then she moved to Canada, just her, to go to school. And that's where we met. And then last year, her family moved from Cairo to Accra, which is in Ghana. And over this previous summer, yes, she had a really shitty summer living with a friend. And so after that, she was like, I need to spend at least the next semester at home with my family, with my dogs.
Yeah.
And so that's where she's been.
that's a fair
And the
point.
rest is history. No.
History is,
Wow.
is only in the future.
Yeah, that's quite the distance between everywhere.
It's an 8-hour time difference.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's a real awkward time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like that's like actual time, not.
I mean, it's not terrible because I mean I
It's
commonly
we've managed.
chat with people who are like 7-hour time differences I mean, you guys have, Katie, stop. Katie,
Don't
stop.
die.
Katie, stop
Not yet.
dying. Not
There will
dying.
be a time.
What is happening?
Katie. Well, like, I commonly chat with people who are like, 7 or 8 hours away. Namely, you guys have met Alex before. And
Yeah.
also, I also still, need to keep in contact with my sister, who is currently all the way in Germany. So
Oh, yeah.
that is an 8-hour time difference, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
So-
what'll happen... So, like, what happened today was I'll get up, whenever I get up right now, because I'm not working, so I'll get up around the afternoon.
Same.
Make breakfast, and then she'll text me and be like, hey, do you want to watch a movie? And then we'll watch a movie, and then she'll go to bed, and then I'll have the rest of my day.
Okay.
So,
I woke up at 3 p.m. Well, actually, no, I got out of bed at 3 p.m.
I woke up at 1:30.
I woke up at 5:30. No, 5.
I
No,
woke up
4:30.
I woke up at 11:30, and then I just sort of laid in my bed for another 2 hours.
Yeah, same. I got
What's
up
it like sleeping in past 8? I'm
Oh,
curious.
it's great. You
Yeah,
wake up
yeah.
and
It's
the
not
sun's
always
there.
great. A lot of the time, like today I got up earlier than I usually do. For the past number of weeks, I've been waking up at or not necessarily waking up, but getting out of bed at 2:30, which sucks because by the time I'm finished eating breakfast, it's 3.
That's lunch.
Yeah,
Exactly.
today.
Then I
it was
don't
like-
I don't have much day left.
Today was like I got up at 11:30, and then I just sort of scrolled on my phone on Reddit for about 2.5 hours, and then I got out of bed at 3.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
I mean, when you don't have anything to do during the day, there's just this tendency I find to just be extremely lenient with when you exist.
Yeah, that was actually one of the, to
Understandable.
bring it all full circle, that was one of the reasons that I started streaming.
So,
Is because
Understandable.
it's
A
a
thing to get
regular
up for.
thing that I know that I'm going to be doing in the day. So I need to get whatever stuff I needed to get done that day. I need to get it done before I start streaming. So I gotta get out of bed at some point.
Yeah,
That
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 works.
that used to be the way that I approached streaming, and then I got a job,
Hmm.
and then that job went away because it was seasonal, and then I never got back into it as a sort of regular thing while waiting for another job. I feel like if I had done that, would have been a better idea. What are you doing?
What do you-
Nothing.
It wasn't nothing.
I don't know what I
Yes,
thought I saw you holding.
Right. Yes. Why?
Anyway, I don't know.
But-
Don't ask me questions. I cut my hair today. I obviously don't know what I'm doing.
cut your hair? You cut many hairs.
Wait, did you cut your hair?
No,
Oh,
Tell
us
it
about
looks
that.
great.
it just went away. I took a shower and then.
Oh.
Disintegrated like Thanos snap.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need to call a plumber.
Oh.
Not
Yikes.
again. I mean, the
Uh,
plumber was for a different reason last time, but we don't need another plumber.
Yeah, no. Especially not if it's gonna cost me $500 fucking dollars again.
Did y'all actually need a plumber?
No, I was joking
Oh.
about haha, if that much hair went down the drain.
Right, but then you kept
Uh,
talking about a plumber, and then you were, and then
No, but I did get a plumber last month,
Yeah,
Right.
there was a plumber.
and
involved.
it cost me over $500.
yeah, that's what tipped me off to be like, did they actually get a plumber at some point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was last month, and that's because my my bathroom or the bathtub faucet had been leaking,
Mhm.
and by leaking I mean it was as though the faucet was half on.
Oh, yikes.
and I couldn't fix it for quite a while. So I'd just been kind of dealing with it. And yeah, then I had a plumber in and it cost $500.
Wow.
That's great. I had a plumber come in like 4 separate times. The last time I actually had them fix it. It was like $40 each time to get it like tightened. And then every time it just would go back the same way.
Yeah. This is some great podcast content.
I mean, it's a
Plumbing,
podcast.
I mean, streaming, plumbing. These are like real life things that
Things
everyone
stream
deals with.
through pipes.
Oh, yeah.
That's as far as I'm going.
Yeah.
When you use a snake to take clogs out of your drain, you have to twitch it.
There you go. Bit of a stretch, but
Everything comes around.
It really
You
does.
don't twitch your snake from time to time?
Oh.
Oh no, I do that every night.
Thanks, Morgan.
Did you know this is what you were in for, Connor?
I don't know why I didn't expect it.
But
have you listened to the podcast before?
I have. I've listened to it once or twice.
Okay.
You know,
So you could have expected it.
I could have.
we're a little off the rails. We kind of just jump around, but
But
keeps
also
things
the one-
interesting,
The one that I most recently watched was the one where you guys get into like the content that you're most proud of, and it was all nice and
That's a
good
good
and
one.
reflective and such.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that one.
that was a good episode, especially for me, because it kind of let me look into a lot of the very stupid things I have in my head.
Hmm.
I
And
just
it
sat
lets you know how disappointed you are in me.
Nice.
I'm
I
not
just-
disappointed in you.
there.
He just said he was
No,
jealous of you.
never.
That's
I was
the
just
opposite.
I was just extremely jealous because you gained
Yeah.
so much traction. using
That's the
Snapchat.
negative inverse of disappointment.
That math checks out.
It's not
So,
that you did.
You're
not-
halfway disappointed in me.
It's not that
You
you,
know
did
what?
worse than he wanted. It's that you did better than he wanted.
You know what? Now that you put it like
Damn.
that, damn.
and then literally fucking every couple days since then, it's just been, hey, Katie, you think you like Five Nights at Freddy's a bit too much?
Listen,
It's like every other day at this point.
There's-
You'll say that
there's
to me.
like a little bit of concern and also a little bit of proud. You know,
I mean,
it's
you
like
know
I've
been into this just this much, exactly the same amount since we fucking started hanging out.
I mean, maybe it was the Foxy hat that should have tipped me off.
Or, the fact that the majority of games that I get excited for the release of are Zelda and Five Nights at Freddy's.
So it's like I'm not disappointed. I'm just like a parent. I'm just like happy but extremely concerned.
It's just like, all right, son, let me sit you down for a second. Those new friends you're with, they're involved in a cult, right?
Those
Just
new
don't
You
friends
hang
you're
out
with,
with
you
them,
know they're
but
furries,
please
right?
tell me they're not introducing you to Beelzebub. I'm just concerned for your future. I know you won't use the Ouija board, but I'm concerned you have one now.
Man, as is the case with most people our age that have in any way interacted with a religion, my relationship with Christianity has changed substantially. I'm still never touching a Ouija board.
Oh yeah.
A Luigi board?
Or
Oh,
that.
The Ouija board?
I said
What's a
Ouija.
Luigi board?
The Ouija board.
Ouija board?
The Ouija board.
No, not the Ouija board.
Is that not how it's pronounced?
The
I believe it is. If you look at the phonetic spelling.
Just think where we just like started and where we ended up. And then you just kind of have to watch as you just it's like pinball, and it just hits every side of the goddamn table.
My point is, I'm not touching that shit.
You're not talking.
I'm also
Damn.
not doing that either.
You know, that's completely fair. And I
Yeah.
You know
respect
what?
your opinion.
What if the Ouija board told you to start talking?
Then that means I've already been interacting with it, which I literally just said I wouldn't do.
What if sleepwalking
I'm
you and
sorry.
interacted with it?
Sorry, what was
See-
that?
What if sleepwalking you interacted with one?
I don't sleepwalk.
You don't know that.
I do.
Oh.
Have
Maybe
you
it's-
recorded
maybe
yourself
sleep-
at night?
Maybe sleeping you knows when to go back to bed before you wake up.
Nah.
To reference a Vsauce episode of Mindfield, you have a subconscious process that thinks about things before your conscious mind knows about them. So, hypothetically speaking, you could be sleepwalking, and just as your conscious mind becomes about to become aware that you're sleepwalking, you go back to sleep.
If I do sleepwalk, no one's told me.
They don't want to scare you.
That
That was-
doesn't help me though.
Well, it doesn't need to help you now, does it?
I
They're
realize
just
it does.
secretly recording it every night, just like, haha, look at this guy.
If the condition is bad enough that I am getting out of bed to go interact with the Ouija board, I would like to know.
That is a valid concern.
I've realized just about how weird sleepwalking is, like when you actually think about it.
It scares me.
Because like
Yeah.
when you're
Have y'all
sleeping, like your body's supposed to be like basically your mind paralyzes your body, so that you don't have to use that muscle energy or like move. But like if your mind doesn't do that, you can thrash around in bed or fucking start walking.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what?
It's
My-
weird.
Have you seen those TikTok videos
I've seen many.
of
the lady.
the lady that like if she
Yeah.
eats cheese directly before bed, she triggers sleepwalking.
Yeah.
And so she does this on purpose with the help of her husband
Yeah.
or her partner or whoever. And they have like night cameras around their house so she can record this stuff. And her entire TikTok content is just her different sleepwalking every few nights or whatever.
I don't know
I
if
have
we're thinking
seen
the
those.
same person or not.
It's
Because
I
I
don't know.
I saw somebody who posted something on TikTok who was sleepwalking, and what they did is they went to their fridge all giddy and happy, grabbed a bunch of cans, went outside and threw
Yes,
them on
yeah.
the lawn.
This is
lady.
the same person. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's so
Um,
good.
Yeah, and then it's just like, but she's like super happy all the time.
Yeah.
She's like super well taken care of during all this stuff. It's just really funny that it even happens.
Yeah. On the
And
entire
that she
other,
knows what causes it.
on the other end of the spectrum, have y'all seen the movie Horse Girl?
No.
It's with Allison Brie. Debbie Ryan is in there too.
Oh,
Plays her roommate. I don't want to spoil it too much, but after watching it, it very much made the idea of sleepwalking very scary to me.
okay.
Yeah.
Just the idea of your body doing something and you don't even know it's happening.
that I can't keep track of.
Yep.
And you can't really explain anything that you've done in the meantime. But that doesn't
Mhm.
change the fact that any of those things have happened.
Yeah.
That's
It's
deep.
interesting.
That's
Got the sleepwalking from FNAF?
what?
You know? I just want you to think about like the process we go through. It's like a game of telephone. JAMAcast is just the podcast equivalent of a game of telephone.
Damn.
Well, it's
you're
because
right.
we don't
What?
start with a topic. We don't try and stay on the topic. We just talk.
Yeah.
We're just
We're just a bunch of friends having a conversation.
It is nice to be in a podcast that is slightly more chaotic than Hit the Hay.
Yeah.
I have not.
Because at
heard of
least with Hit the Hay, we start recording with like at least one or two talking points in mind. Plus, we like end it with like we know what wiki that we're gonna look at near the end. Other than that, it's all improvised.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I heard that, and it made me think of. Have you ever you've heard of Tom Scott, right?
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of Citation Needed?
I've heard of it.
It's basically a show where Tom has a WikiHow article, or not a WikiHow article, just a Wikipedia article, and they can't see it. They know the title, and through funny and witty banter, they figure out what the WikiHow article is about.
Oh,
That's
I like
it's
that.
an extremely funny show. I want to figure out if there's a way we can do it, because I feel like that'd be funny, but also I have no idea how that's structured.
I feel like none of the people in Cyber Soup are good enough at improvisational comedy to pull off any of that shit.
No.
Yeah, and I have done improv. I've done improv as part of drama for a couple of years, and that was neat and fun.
It's a good
We were
time.
supposed to do a fully improv show, but that never happened.
I had one of the videos that I've got on my channel that it's one of the ones that has ended up like being one of the videos that I'm most proud of. Is just like on the surface, it's just me playing the Backrooms game, but it ended up just like as I was going, I ended up like kind of going with the narrative of every few seconds you can remember something about yourself. And I like turned it into this whole like improvised narrative thing about myself, and slowly having an existential crisis about why I'm YouTubing at this point in my life. And then at the very end, I just completely forget that I've said anything like that.
Oh.
Huh.
And it's, considering the game that I was playing, it may like, it's like a weird context for it, because it's just a game of like, you keep going through these hallways and there's no definite end to the hallways.
Okay. Like PT Hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it feels like more of a maze than PT. So like, there's this point where I'm like, I just remembered that I play video games for YouTube, and I'm like, but I think the reason that I do this is because usually I would be getting all of this out in theater, but I've graduated, and it's really hard, especially now, to find like acting jobs at all. And so I have to deal with the fact that I paid a lot of money to get a degree in something that I'm not doing right now. So I need to get that out somehow.
Fucking yes.
And then as I'm getting to the climax of that is when the game ends.
Oh my god. It's too real. It's
Right?
too real.
I finished editing that, and I'm like, I think I've accidentally made one of the best things I've ever made.
Huh.
That sounds about right. Also, that just sounds like me. Because, like, exactly the same predicament, you know? It's like all this time spent in school doing theater things, and then you graduate and you can't do anything with it. So you kind of just put that knowledge into something else.
And it's really hard, like so many. I've had so many job interviews where they're like, "So we saw that you've got lots of experience, like working in theater. So like, how does that apply to the workplace?" And I'm like, it's definitely useful. It's just really hard to explain how. other than
Yeah.
in really abstract ways. Like, I'm great at working in a team. And then it's, yeah.
The way I explained, like, because I put that on my resumes for applying to jobs as well, I basically described it as working in a fast-paced environment, being able to work with the team really well, and being very wary of deadlines.
Yeah.
Especially in the
Yeah.
behind-the-scenes aspect. We had to work quick. We had to work with the team, because if you don't work with the team, well, then you're not going to do really well on the
show's not
show,
gonna
and
be
people are
good.
going to hate you.
Yeah. Plus, like, my improv experience is, like, probably the most, like, impressive thing on my resume, because there was a whole year where I was, like, the head of this student-run program, where I was, like, teaching workshops and hosting shows and casting shows and doing social media stuff and sometimes running box office. But because it's go ahead, it's fine.
You go.
It's
You
fine.
keep going.
Okay, love you. And so I have, like, that 1 year job, like, gave me a lot of, like, really solid experience in things that very much apply to other jobs.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it was all for improv, which is not held in the highest, respect.
I mean, I feel like improv is sort of like one of those things that is actually decently transferable. Because it's like, if you're good at thinking of things on the fly,
Yeah.
then it's like that might be transferable into a customer service position where you're good at talking to people or
Yeah.
being able to stall if a customer is angry.
Yeah. I was one of the, like, favorite box office people when I was working at Cineplex, because A, I like movies and I know movies, and B, I'm good at talking to people.
I mean, it's necessary if you're working at Cineplex to at least know movies. I think that's like
You'd
one
be
of their hiring
surprised.
requirements. Oh, really? Do
Yeah.
you not need to know movies?
I mean, it depends on where you're working. If you're working in
Cineplex?
concession or in outlet, in, like, the fast food outlet, you don't really need to watch movies because they don't really
That makes
ask you.
sense.
But if you're
Uh-huh.
at box office, chances are at some point someone's going to be like, we don't know what we should watch. And there is a list of, like, movies with, like, summaries at the desk, but that really only helps you so much. So it helps more to have someone with a face who can read whoever is going to the movie and be like, I feel like these are the movies that you'd be into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was a stretch where I was trying to get as many people to go see The Lighthouse as possible,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which
Understandable.
it worked about maybe 50% of the time at best. But yeah,
Understandable.
Understandable.
I've only had like 3 jobs ever,
yeah,
I think. Actually, no. It would be 2 jobs that I've worked, and then the third one is up and coming. But
Nice.
like, oh my god.
I mean, the job that I have the most experience in is, like, working at camp.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
either day camps or, like, I worked at a Bible camp in Alberta for, like, 5 years.
Was it Go Lake?
No, it was Southern
Oh.
Alberta Bible Camp.
Wow, that's a really creative fucking name.
I know.
I think when I was younger, I went to one called Camp Caroline.
Yeah, I've been there. It's nice. Their food isn't great, but
I've only been to Go Lake and Silversides, which are literally on the same fucking lake, just opposite sides. Literally, if you go to the beach at Go Lake and you look across the lake, you can see the beach of the other camp.
yeah. We were on like a bagel reservoir, but the rest of it's just like prairie land. It's nice. It's a good place. I'm glad that I worked there as long as I did, and I'm glad that I stopped working there when I did, because I don't think there was much more for me there than what I got.
Honestly, fair.
Makes sense.
I'm just trying to remember my fond memories of camp now. Like making a fire on top of a rock in a river to make an egg.
Yeah. That was how...
Okay, Discord cut the fuck out there for a sec.
I heard you.
Making a fire on a rock and Riv make egg.
I think that's all we really need to know. Fire on rock, make egg.
Honestly, more or less, that's what you need to know.
Yeah.
Because I made an egg on a rock. I got scared that there was some boogeyman that was going to sneak into our cabin, so I got very scared and cried. And there was a part where each group of us had to sing on stage, and I greatly protested.
Understand.
I mean, also because being like fucking like 13, or not even, like probably 12 at the time, or 11, I was like, I don't have good pipes at the moment. Listen, it improves over time, Morgan. You don't know. Try singing right now.
Sing Bee Gees.
I don't think we have the clearance for that.
Yeah, no, that's some serious content.
What if I sing in a bass range? Do you think they'll pick up on that?
Well, you can't tell by the way.
Yeah, you
Stop.
Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother or stay.
Staying alive.
I hate all of this.
Alive.
I also hate all of
You sound like you're trying to be the fucking Dracula Muppet.
It's like a Gregorian
saying
chant.
it live.
It's like
I think I can hit Barry Gibbs' voice pretty good if I try.
It's like,
but my throat just dies afterwards.
That was
it's like
just
the
like
Gregorian chant version of Staying Alive.
That was just like a fine line between turning into Patrick Warburton sings the Bee Gees.
Hey, Peter.
Like Peter.
You can tell by the way I use my walk. And I won't walk
Whether you're
No
a brother,
time to die.
whether you're a mother, staying alive. Staying alive.
Staying alive.
I hate
alive.
this, but I love it.
Right.
Can we do like an actual cover of that and just use the fucking
Family Guy voices.
Yes.
I think this needs to happen now.
Staying alive.
Joe Swanson.
My spinach pops. There we go.
Amazing.
I met him. He's a
Really?
big fella, real big.
He is a
fella.
real big fella.
He put his arm around me. I'm like, oh god, this is what a bear is like.
What a unit.
This is where I die.
Like,
What do you mean
his
by
hand,
bear,
like,
Morgan?
doubled my head. I was like, ugh.
He seems nice.
Good
though.
guy though. Oh yeah, good guy. Good.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yes.
What is the? Let's go around the table, the virtual table, and what kind of impressions is anyone actually capable of doing? I'm curious. Like,
Oh boy.
I can do Patrick
Yogi.
Warburton. I can do a decent.
Yogi Bear.
Yeah. I mean, I used to.
I can
something
do a
about
decent
picnic
John
basket?
Mulaney.
Can you?
Yeah.
Do it.
There's a horse loose in the hospital.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
No one knows. No one knows what's going on. Least of all the horse.
Least
He's
of all
never,
the horse.
He's never been in a hospital before.
Amazing.
Terrible.
I didn't know he could do that.
He's like,
Morgan,
What?
do your Yogi.
Hey, boo boo. Let us get some picnic baskets.
Damn.
Wow.
Iconic.
It's like looking in a
Morgan.
mirror.
come on, Morgan.
It's
you can
like
do it better
listening
than
to
that.
a
Come
mirror.
on.
Yeah,
Do
okay,
it.
shut up.
Come on.
Hey. Hey, boo boo. Let us get some picnic baskets.
Nice.
Well,
That's the
That's
one.
not bad.
That's pretty.
That was
It's
pretty
been a
good.
hot minute.
I'm pretty sure Katie can do Kermit.
Well, yeah, of course I can do
Anyone can
Kermit.
do Kermit.
It's the Muppet Show with very special guest star, TallLankyGuy. Yeah.
That is pretty good.
It wasn't great.
I think the echo sounded better than
Yeah.
the actual audio. So you got that
Oh, yeah.
going for you.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
I'm trying to think of literally any others.
I don't know if I've ever been. I used to do a pretty okay Goofy, but now that my voice has changed,
Gorge?
I can't.
Gore.
It's like I just look gosh. It used to work, but now my voice has just changed.
It's like I used to be able to do pretty solid Shaggy. Like I would just take advantage of.
Oh yeah, I can do Shaggy pretty well, I think.
do
yeah.
it.
Like Zoink Scoob.
Yeah.
For a Scooby snack.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I had a coworker that did a really good Scooby Doo.
Yeah. I used to
was
do a really
actually-
solid SpongeBob, and then my voice lowered, and now I'm able to do a pretty solid Plankton and Patrick.
Crabs. Eugene Krabs.
Hear me, crabs.
Oh!
One day I will acquire the Krabby Patty formula.
That's pretty good.
Thank
And
you.
you
I
even
like
got the
that.
formula at the end. That's
Yeah.
very, very nice. That's a nice touch.
My computer wife,
Oh.
Karen.
Karen.
I'm pretty sure the only impression that I can do that's actually like accurate is my fucking fucking my name's Ash Ketchum.
I found
Let's go, Pikachu. I found you, Faker. Faker, I think you're the fake hedgehog around here.
Faker! I've never even met her!
I feel.
See, mine just starts to sound like Sonic
All right,
the Hedgehog.
Pikachu, bend over.
Oh god.
I feel like that Ash Ketchum video is like one. It's like your magnum opus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Speaking of the content you're most proud of.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely so proud of my Ash Ketchum. My two Ash Ketchums reenact Sonic and Shadow
Oh
meeting.
god.
Curious, Connor. What are you the most proud of that you've made that you can think of right now?
On YouTube? Man.
General.
In
General.
in
Content
general.
you're okay with talking about on the podcast. Like if it's like private life stuff, you don't have to mention it. But
I mean, I don't know. Because, like,
I like that you had the I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
I'm
I
also
don't
really
know.
terrible at, like, thinking of the top number one thing of anything. So,
That's fair.
I mean, what is something that you've made that you're really proud of? I know you talked about the one with the gameplay where you were sort of
yeah.
improving
the fact-
along with it.
Yeah. The thing is, so when it comes to, like, I think of my Steven Universe video essay, but I don't know how proud of that I actually am. I'm proud of the fact that I made it, but as a video essay, I'm fine with saying it's not very good.
Yeah.
But
I feel the same way about my Blair Witch Project videos.
yeah, but as far as first video essays go, it's pretty good. And I'm proud of the fact that I made it. I'm really proud of, like, my improv career. I managed over the course of, like, my 5 years at Trinity to become, like, and this isn't me being like this isn't me like jerking myself off. People have told me
we
that I'm
couldn't
like
put that on YouTube if it was.
I
so.
became a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Which meant a lot to me there were a lot of times that people have told me they're like, someone will be advertising next 1107 show, and then they'll be like, is Connor gonna be in it? And they'll be like, yeah, and they'll be like, I'm definitely going then. And that means a lot to me. Obviously, go to the shows regardless of if I'm in them, because everyone else in 1107 is also very funny.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the fact that I was remarked on as one of the highlights of the years that I was there means a lot to me.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
To be a fan favorite.
Right?
Get off of
Who's your
iPhone.
fan favorite on the podcast? Let us know in the comments below.
It's
My
not me.
favorite on the podcast is
Honestly, me too. Honestly, you know,
Wow.
this black shelf.
That's a
Say
nice
that.
shelf.
that is a nice.
It's
shelf.
a nice fucking shelf. Come on.
Damn, that
My
shelf,
favorite on the
though.
podcast is the fucking infrared sensor for Adam's Vive in the top right corner.
Yeah.
Nice. I
See,
didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah.
I remember there's something that we talked about on the last podcast. I'm curious if you have any input on. We talked, I talked a bit last time about sort of my second channel and how these stupid memes I've made have become insanely popular to the point where just recently my second channel passed a total 1 million views on that channel.
Let's
much.
go.
Literally.
Wow.
And the thing is, I look at that and I go, fuck, I hate that so much. And then I look at my
It's
main
okay,
channel.
delete the video and then it'll go back down to like to like
That's one way to
50,000.
fix it.
But I'm curious if there's ever been something that you've made that's gotten more than you've wanted to, or if something you've seen has gotten more popular than you think that it really deserved, maybe.
Yeah. The most viewed video on my channel is the second part of my playthrough of Sarah is Missing,
Oh yeah.
which
Did you find her in that one?
I think so. I don't know if she was doing well or not when we found her, but we found her.
She might have been dead.
I
but
think she was dead.
But no longer
Either that or possessed by possessed by a phone or something.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But the weirdest part was that like that video has I think almost 600 views. And then but the first part of that series has maybe half that.
Yeah.
And every time I see that, I'm just like, why is this the way it is?
I have that with my fucking Spider-Man series. The Game Boy Advance game that I played of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
For some reason, the second part of that has like 600 something views or whatever.
My theory,
But the first part has like 40.
my theory is that people used like either one of those videos for like walkthroughs.
Oh yeah.
And then, more people needed guidance on what to do in the later half of the game than the first half, which is why more people went to the second part of the series. And I have like I've got a longer series where, for example, like my Dream Daddy series, both times that I've played through it, both series have like most videos have like maybe 1 or 2 views. They might have more by now. And then maybe there's 3 odd videos that have like 12 at least.
Yeah.
Probably because, maybe those are the funnier episodes in the series. I kind of doubt it. But these things happen.
Yeah.
And the way I'm kind of approaching it now, and that's kind of like informed how I approach YouTube right now, in the sense of, about a year and a half ago, I had a pretty big creative crisis with YouTube of being like, if no one's watching my stuff, what's the point of making it? And then managed to get past that to being like, I'm going to keep making stuff because I enjoy making stuff. And if people watch it, fantastic. So, on one hand, while it'd be great for my channel to grow and more people to actually interact with my stuff, it doesn't change whether I'm gonna keep making stuff or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I've always had that same sort of perspective as well, because I did a super old video on my channel at this point. Well, maybe not super old, but pretty old. And it's called what is it? The Struggles of Being a Small YouTuber. And it's one of my very few rant / essay style videos that I've done, which are the type of video that I actually made my channel so that I could start making, and then I've made 4 total of them since I made my channel, like 6 or 7 years ago. Anyway, but yeah, and it was basically talking about the same thing. It's like the effort that I'm putting in is outweighing what I get back from it.
Yeah.
However, and it's that however that keeps me going.
Yeah, well, it's also like about defining what it is you want to get out of it. If you're putting in that effort in order to get attention out of it in the form of views, then chances are you might not have as great of a time. But I came to realize that I'm doing stuff like I make gaming videos because I freaking love playing indie games and love exploring that art form and just giving my thoughts on what's happening and making myself laugh with my own reactions. And then I do stuff like Game Boys because Emmett's one of my best friends, and we both enjoy video games, and we enjoy playing them with each other. And Hit the Hay, I enjoy because me and Emmett and Sam love having these crazy nerd discussions together, and we just decided to record it. And I love Spook Date because I love Alicia, and we both love Spook. So we figured, why not record ourselves playing some Spook? And now that's flooded.
As is the way.
Yeah, and now that's flooded over into things like my Tuesday Twitch streams, which is just me hanging out with a bunch of my friends. And we've now, over the few weeks that I've been doing that, it's become this thing that we all really look forward to because it's a lot of fun. And whether we get any online attention on it is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember watching a video from Tom Scott where he's kind of talking about how to become famous on the internet. And he's just the sort of same thing that most YouTubers have said is just make stuff.
Yeah.
Because every time you put stuff out on the internet, it's another sort of roll at the dice to see if the algorithm or the people will flock to your stuff.
Yeah.
So if you stop making things, you can't move forward anywhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the idea.
If you're not willing.
Yes, it is. The idea is when you play the lottery, there's a very little chance you can win. Very, very small. But the thing is, if you never play the lottery, you're never going to have that chance.
Yeah. And you have to be willing to go a very, very long time of putting in that effort and getting nothing back from YouTube before you can even start to get something out of it. So
yeah, it's like trying to roll for initiative, except you have a 500-sided dice, and every single face on the dice says 1 or 2, except for one of them which says 500.
Sure.
Damn, that would be a really fucked up die.
That would be a very large die.
Yeah.
It would either be.
Could you imagine trying to roll that thing? It's just throwing a fucking boulder.
Either that, or it'd be like a ball in that it is so damn smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Um,
God damn it.
Connor, you okay there, bud?
I'm alright. My computer just
you thought my
decided it
metaphor
can't.
was just that good, huh? You were like, well, can't top this.
I'm still recording audio.
Okay.
Okay, good.
My computer was just like, we're gonna dip out for a second.
That was really funny.
My Wi-Fi thing didn't even blip out or anything. That was weird.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
That is incredible.
That is incredible.
You know, one thing I'd actually like to talk about is
The
is
Incredibles.
I mean, what? Not really something incredible, but what's something that you've like wanted to make once you can get enough people together to do it?
Oh.
Because I know I've wanted to make some short films once we can actually get people together to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember the Cringe Conspiracy at all, but Katie and I have been planning on a sequel to that for a while, and
a mini series.
a mini series, a whole bunch of things. And the
think-
thing is, it's going to happen eventually. I know it
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything specific that I'm looking forward to. I think the thing that I just most want to happen is to be able to actually interact with a sizable audience. To like, you know, at the end of every video, I'm like, put in the comments if there's anything you would like to see me play, or like stuff like that, where I want to. That's kind of why. That's another reason why the idea of Twitch streaming appealed to me, is because I can fairly immediately interact with whoever is watching, and like have it be a unique experience in that way. And things, do things like ukulele streams, where I know that I can make a call for song requests, and know that I'll actually not only get like a good response, but also know that people are gonna stick around to hear the whole thing and ask for another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just this skinny middle kid looking for attention, and it all boils down to I just want confirmation that I'm real.
Oh God, that is actually a
Fuck.
mood. I
Right?
think that's also a reason why I get kind of disappointed when nobody watches. It's like I need someone to witness that I exist besides
Yeah.
the people that already know.
Because if no one interacts with the things that I've made, who's to say that I like? What was the point of me even making it? Did no one notice it?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
other people in the world know that we exist?
Oh my god. I had that recently. Very recently. This week. Where I was doing a stream for Black Mesa. I
Yeah.
only did a few Black Mesa streams because I beat the game. Whatever. And the second last stream that I did, Adam was there at the beginning, chatted a little bit, went off to do something. 0 viewers for the entire rest of the stream.
That was my Death and Taxes streams. Almost no one was watching while I was streaming that.
Yeah. And I mean, I gotten into this little thing where I found like for a small bit of time this little pocket of time where like a bunch of people from Discord and just friends and stuff like that would just pop in for streams and whatever, just even for a little bit. And so it was consistent throughout the whole stream. There would be a couple messages and stuff like that, and it was good. But then that one stream was just like, oh boy, nothing.
Nobody.
Well,
Nobody. And I don't even pay attention to. I don't turn off my view counter, but I just don't look at it.
Yeah.
Because I don't care that much about it.
Yeah.
But
the thing
it's the
is,
chat.
like, the only reason I'm able to like just openly be like, I make stuff because I want confirmation that I'm real, The only reason I'm able to say that out loud to other people is because on my good days, I know that I am real and I know that I have made an impact in people's lives. Like I know that because I have people like Alicia and the people that I do Tuesday streams with. Like the Kim and Janet, who are like regular people in my Tuesday streams, have known me since high school. And like there is proof in my life that I have made the world slightly different by existing, which is very comforting. Obviously on bad days, you know, it's a little harder to remember those things and a little bit harder to think about how much those things count.
I mean, you just decided to play a random fucking indie game on Game Jolt one day, and here we are talking all these years later still.
Yeah, you've made a difference.
So
we're here right now because a game that you...
Because I made shitty Square game.
It was not shitty. It was a Square game, but it was not shitty.
That's true.
It was rough around the edges, but it was not...
It was a good first try.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
if I remember, Shitty Square Game was probably the one that I did music for.
Yes, it was.
Good old Shitty Square Game.
Nice.
Shitty Square Game.
I do remember enjoying the music.
Yeah.
So you got
And
that
the
to
shitty
pat on your back, pat yourself on the back, back on yourself, pat.
Slap. Just slap your spine.
Slap
Do
back.
It. That made audible noise.
It did make audible noise.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I could see
Anyway.
the spikes on the waveform.
Yeah. Things.
I mean, the impact doesn't always have to be massive.
No, and I
Right?
have to remind myself
it doesn't have
that
to be.
as well.
Yes, I existed today, and that affected the lives of 10,000 people. No, it doesn't have to be like that.
No.
Literally, fucking, you know, I exist for a day, and that affected a grand total of I talked to Adam, Morgan, Connor, and Joey today.
Yeah. And so much, like, a large percentage of that time, you also need to just, like, allow yourself to exist in other people's space.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I hate reaching out to people first. Not
Mhm.
because I'm morally opposed to it, obviously, but because I don't like imposing on other people. You know?
Mhm.
Because, you know, fun self-esteem stuff, I don't think that I'm worth other people's time for whatever reason.
Feel that for sure.
But over the course of the many years of, like, growing to feel more qualified in the things that I want to do and, like, actually growing a sense of confidence in my abilities, I'm like, I am worth people's time. And if they don't if they don't value my time, that's their loss.
Mhm.
So I've started getting better at, like, talking to people and being like, hey, I would love to do a thing together. I still need to get better at it. But
Yeah.
things like adding the JAMAcast Twitter, being like, hey, can I be on your podcast?
I mean, that's a good idea. We literally say in pretty much every episode to at CyberSoupNT with the hashtag JAMAcast to see more guests on the podcast. And in this event, it ended up being, hey, the guest I suggest for the podcast is myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might I be might I be full of myself for one moment? But no, yeah, not full of yourself. But that was the joke.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, it's
You're
just,
doing great,
yeah.
Katie.
It's the thing of, like, I hesitate to do stuff like that because I'm like, oh, I'm this freaking small YouTube channel. I don't want to have to bother the high and mighty Werewing 11 just so that I can be on so that
High and
so that I
mighty-
might
look. I've
shamelessly
released two
plug
successful
myself.
things, and you want to call me that? That's no, rude. Don't.
I mean, I know there are people that we know that we would very much like to do things with. Like, there are people that we want to make things and do things with, but the thing is, these people are like
Shut up, Morgan.
are in such like high regard, or like just extremely higher sub count. And then
Yeah,
you
sure.
don't want
Some-
these people to think that you're like trying to take advantage of their
Exactly.
popularity, when in reality you just want to make a fun thing with them, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Some
you
of my
think they're
friends-
neat and you think that you would make a cool thing together.
Yup. Essentially. Well, yeah, no, like legitimately, some of my friends, it's like, I would love to make something with you one day. However, me asking that, I'm considering the fact you have like 5 million subscribers right now. I don't know if I have like the privilege to be able to ask you that. Like, or like, you know, it's I don't know.
Like, I'm sure there's
I've made my way around communities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people in the VR space that I would love to make things with, but I'm just like
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I feel like you could like go ahead and like ask like Cutie Pop or whatever to ask to like make content with you, or like do like a video essay on
yeah.
how VR has brought people together or whatever, stuff like that. Do something like that. I feel like you are in that space where you could do that, considering you were like that close, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I feel like if I was to reach out to like, I don't know, like literally anybody,
Let
I
me
would
be
just
clear.
be like,
Always feel free to reach out to me if you want to make a thing. It makes my
that is
day.
valid.
I see you have an electronic drum kit behind you.
I do. I don't have much of the equipment to record anything on it.
Understandable.
This was really more just for like practicing stuff.
You should do
Without-
drums on if you could figure it out. You should do drums on a track, maybe.
Maybe
Yeah.
if I'm able, if I find the money to afford getting something like that.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, Katie and I have already like talked about some stuff that we want to make together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have that K-Flay song that we still haven't finished.
I thought you had just went ahead and made that without me.
No, that's definitely something I haven't even looked at in like a year.
I'm still down.
Who's that?
K-Flay?
K-Flay, that Bad Vibes song?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think I was gonna do
Yeah,
something with that too. I don't remember.
We were we were gonna do that for a Rum and Reject song,
Yeah.
and then yeah, we just kind of
Left it.
Because
Just kind of left
I-
it alone.
I feel the need to explain myself. I know I don't necessarily have to, but I feel the need to say, I was extremely depressed back then. So
understand.
I was not in the mental space to like. I definitely tried recording a few takes for it, and then like I got frustrated and was like, I'll take care of this another day, and then I didn't.
I feel that.
Yeah.
It just reminded me
Yeah.
of another John Mulaney quote. It's like, they told me to go read Jane Austen, and then I did
Exactly. That's why I slowly switched into my John Mulaney voice.
Amazing.
God, what a man.
I mean, yeah. To be honest, currently I'm working on quite a few projects.
Yeah.
So many.
Some for Ramen Rejects, some for myself.
Mhm.
I'm working on a lot of things for just life projects
Yeah,
in
same.
general.
Oh yeah.
Like moving to the big old city.
Yeah.
Here,
Big
hopefully. Huh?
fucking hassle.
Oh, what a
I'm
hassle.
working on a project called Getting a Job.
I've
That one.
finally got one.
Nice.
I've got to do that soon.
I finally got a full-time job. Go me.
Go you.
Yeah. Finding a house is going to be interesting, considering literally every house ever in Edmonton is just like, but what if you didn't have a dog? And I'm like, well, that's cool, but I do.
Yeah.
Like,
And-
can we like,
And also, like,
I don't know,
Ref-
I'll put down rugs. Like, fuck, dude, come on.
and they're also
I don't care about your goddamn wooden floor.
they're also like, do you have? It's like you need to have a reference. It's like, bruh, I lived in the same house my entire life. Who do I reference? Me?
Yeah, right?
It's like,
Like,
yes,
I'll reference my mom. Like, in the course of my 18 years that I've lived in this house, I've only damaged the structure of the floor once.
There was one
Like-
time I was trying to unclog the shower drain and then accidentally ripped out the stopper.
Oh.
So that's something.
Well, there you go.
But other than that,
You know,
Good
like,
tenant.
how do you get a reference for that shit?
I don't
How
even know.
how do you get a reference
I
for
don't-
that?
I haven't really been asking permission for this stuff. I'm just like, do I have their contact info? I'm gonna put it in.
well, it's like
Yeah.
the way they think that they want you to do it is they want you to be like, hey, it's like, okay, I'm trying to move to a different place. Can I put you down as a reference? And then they would talk to that person and be like, yes, they haven't destroyed the apartment. You should rent to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. This place is that I live in right now is a fucking shack.
Yeah.
Entirely a shack.
It's been a shack since I moved here 18 years ago. You think
Yeah.
that it hasn't been slightly more damaged over the course of that time?
Yeah. I'm moving
yeah.
in the summer. I'm finding my place, a new place closer to Vancouver, with my older sibling and Emmett and another friend of ours.
Oh,
Because
boy.
we're all wanting to, like, all four of us need to be living in kind of a space where we feel more okay to pursue our creative endeavors. So we have this idea of just kind of making this like our art children house is what it's gonna be.
I love that.
I've always loved the idea of like having like a bunch of creative people under one roof. But then
Yeah.
also I think about all those like houses where people live together and the drama that happens because of that. If there's no separation between fun and going the fuck to sleep, like
I'm more so worried about the fact that every single creative person that I know has depression. So tossing them all into one house together could be a disaster.
it's kind of
As
a
far
pool
as-
of tears in the dead center.
As far as I know, I am the least depressed person of the people that I will be living with, which is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, understandable. So they'll go to you for moral support, and then you'll get more depressed. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like that's just
But-
me in a nutshell.
I feel like I'm also like out of our group of friends, like Cybersuit, not counting Morgan. But like out of our group of depressed of our friends that have very bad depression.
Why are we
Sure.
not counting Morgan?
Yeah, why?
Do you have depression?
Unpack some shit on the podcast here.
This is sort of our self-help podcast that we always joke
Morgan,
about.
prove to us you have depression right now. No!
Well, let me show you the risks.
Let me check
No!
the tag on my shirt.
Don't joke about that.
It says tumble dry and depression. Wow.
Wow. Wash in your tears.
Ooh, convenient.
Saltwater wash them.
Wow.
Hmm.
This is a conversation.
Anyway,
You were saying.
You were saying?
but no, out of our friend group, I feel like I'm like one of the least depressed. What was that look?
I forgot about your head.
You scared the fuck out of me.
I scared the fuck out of myself.
That's amazing.
What did you do to the dog?
Don't worry about it.
No! Laying on the bed comfortably.
Sure.
All right.
But you were saying.
What was I saying? Yeah. Okay. Out of all the depressed people in our friend group, I feel like I'm one of the least like affected outwardly about how depressed I am. I worded that very specifically.
Yeah.
Because I'm very affected by it, but on the inside.
Yeah.
On the outside, I feel like I try and give off this like poof kind of like joyful persona, and on the inside it's just like walking through a cemetery while it's foggy.
Yeah.
Like
I feel that a million times.
See, for me, it's not like both at the same time. It's like maybe an entire day of where I just feel like shit for the whole day.
oh yeah.
And then the next day I'm up and getting stuff done and feeling great.
I have that like once every few months.
Yeah.
It'll just like strike me, and then I'll just be like shit out of luck for that whole day.
Yeah.
And then the next day I'll come and I'll be like, all right, better aspect, better day.
Yeah. Even
Find
like
Lego
your
hand.
center.
even like in a lot of my videos I hailed the spring of 2019 as like one of the worst times in my life. I like even then I had a few good days during that spring, but for the most part I was like depressed and super anxious and lonely and shit.
Yeah.
But there would still be days when I would like wake up easily on time, not have anything to do today, go to the store, buy some bakery shit for breakfast, go to the other store, buy myself a nice Arizona iced tea, walk back home, watch some YouTube.
Damn,
It's a great
Arizona
day.
iced tea.
And then maybe record some stuff with Emmett. And then the next day I would have rehearsal and get yelled at by my prof. And then have to go to work at McDonald's. And then go home and be worried that the relationship I was in at the time is falling to shambles.
Ugh.
We hate that.
It was a bad time. But I'm here now. I'm in a much better place. I'm with a very good person. That is much better for me. And not to say that I never feel depressed, but there are far fewer things that have that effect on me than there used to be.
I feel like I used to sort of... I used to be like the super like bubbly, happy all the time personality. I feel like that's kind of what I was sort of known for, was sort of just this everything is going pretty good kind of guy. And then end of high school
and then
hit.
art school.
And then then end of high school hit, and then I went to university, and then shit hit the fucking air circulation, so to speak.
Yeah.
I always think about like the entire time I had known you just been like, I will never ever fucking touch alcohol. I swear to God, if I ever touch alcohol, I'll be so angry at myself. You get to university, like, yeah, I got drunk for the first time. And it's like, all right, Adam.
Yeah.
Listen, art school does some things to you.
Yes. even if it's a Christian art school.
Ugh.
No matter
Yeah.
what kind of art school you go to, usually
Usually you'll start drinking.
Usually you'll
No.
start. Yes,
At
but
least you start swearing.
oh yeah, and like I'm pretty sure 90% of the people in my class were at least at some level of depressed because of the entire program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I graduated, and I'm like, oh fuck, where now? Because
Yeah.
up until the end of like school being done, I was like, okay, I know what's coming. I know where my life is going. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna do the things, and then
COVID.
basically COVID. And then I was like, fuck, I have no plan. I have no plan anymore. And then that sunk in really fast.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I'm not feeling great, my creativity suffers. And then I'm trying to work on music and things, especially because I want to get Ramen Rejects going really far and put a bunch of stuff out on that. But then I can't be creatively helpful to Katie when I'm just like literally wishing for death.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult to be creative when you just kind of would rather not do
Yeah.
anything.
Well, it's
When
interesting.
you feel like it's not
like,
worth it.
talking about like, being known as the happy, bubbly kind of guy. Because like when I was in high school, I was known as the like wholesome, innocent church boy who's also really funny.
That was just our friend Michael.
Sure. There's always one. There's at least one in
There
every
is.
group.
There is always one.
Yeah.
And even if they're actually in the group, they won't feel like they're in the group. And then I graduated high school and started going to Trinity, and suddenly the Christian, wholesome, innocent part was gone because most of the people there are that. But I was still just the funny one. And I remember scrolling through Instagram one day, and I saw a post from Aaron Hansen, who made this long post basically about how he's able to kind of be himself on Instagram, and that's just kind of the space that he's established where he can just kind of be his normal self. And he talked about how for a long time he placed his value as a person on his ability to make people laugh. He was like, if I can't be like good looking, if I can't be charismatic, I can at least be funny, and people will keep me around for that. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I felt for very long that the people that I was around, so many of them just valued me as the funny guy, and they weren't really aware of the other dimensions of who I am, like the fact that I have been dealing with anxiety for 8 years at least, and like the fact that I've been depressed. I've never been like suicidal depressed, but I've been depressed. But I feel like not being that much depressed, sometimes I feel like I'm less relevant.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a tricky thing to kind of walk that line of, you want to be like a ball of good energy or like a good healthy influence on the people around you, but you also need to be honest with yourself and how you're doing if you're not doing well. And it's unhealthy to put a lot of effort into seeming fine if you're not fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, definitely not fine.
Yeah?
And everyone tells you that you're fine, but you're not fine.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it's the hardest part of literally everything since the end of university has been trying to convince myself that being not okay is completely okay.
Yeah.
But then it's like, then it's like I'm not sure if that's helpful or not, because it's like, okay, I know it's okay not to be okay, but is there a way to be okay? Okay.
I mean, therapy, but that's expensive.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
I don't have
It shouldn't
money.
be as expensive as it is, but it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Our current method for therapy is these talks.
yeah.
Uh,
And if it helps, then you at least have that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's usually like it's either talks where we're all in a room together, or talks, at least I remember there was a few times where Katie and I would talk when we were just sitting in their driveway.
Yeah.
We would get back, we
Those were
would just sit in the driveway and we would just talk.
for like half an hour and just talk about life.
Yeah. Well, and it's been interesting, like having actually like gone to therapy a few times. I felt around the time that I like started going to therapy, even before that, around the time that I started dating Alicia, I felt like I was in a very good place. And then I start this new relationship, and starting a new relationship has a weird way of highlighting all of the parts of yourself that you really should have been working on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
'Cause
We're all
it's-
just kind of like, yep.
It's this weird type of like you're interacting with this other person in a way that you don't interact with other people. And they're relying on you for things that no one else really relies on you for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it very quickly highlights, some things that maybe have not yet been worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how that happens.
Yeah.
But as the Bible says, bitches be crazy.
Mm.
I remember that one. I think that's the part I read.
Yeah, that was in Deuteronomy.
Dude.
Deuteronomy?
Love it.
Dude, Ron? Me?
Dude, how do you feel?
Damn.
I don't know.
Ugh.
It just reminded me of that one video. It's like, dude, how do you feel? And then he just goes,
Mm,
That is valid.
true.
which is about me. I'm just like, there are points in days where I'm just like, oh, fuck yeah, this is good. This is good. And then I go
Let's
to bed
go.
and I'm like, fuck.
Why did I do that?
You just kind of sit and contemplate, Just like,
It's interesting because like my drives recently to try and better those things has been very interesting, because it's like me and Kyla together will like kind of like we'll have our occasional like arguments where we duke it out for a couple hours, and then we'll just be like, all right, so here's what we've learned today.
So what we have learned applies to our life today.
Yeah, pretty much, essentially. And it's kind of like, we'll just like, all right, so here's what we need to work on. And then sometimes we don't, and that's fine.
Yeah. Sometimes
things
you
happen.
start working on it, and then it comes up again, and they're like, I thought you said you were working on it. Like, I am. I just haven't gotten
Far.
It just turns out I'm a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
the progress bar is
It's-
moving, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's like when you're at the part of the game where you've gotten to the final credits, and then it's like everything after that point is the tedious side missions, and you're like, I could really do that one, but sadly, the game wants me to become the top of the online leaderboards to actually complete it.
Yikes.
I'll keep playing online. I'll keep getting better. But I need that number 1 spot, or else the achievement bubble won't ring.
I think you lost me on the
Yeah, I kind
metaphor.
of was like, understanding it, and then I just didn't.
Basically, online achievements are really fucking hard to get because they require you to be online. Online play is a lot harder.
Usually.
Yeah.
What's
Anyway. Fuck you, Rainbow Six. Fucking hate your achievement system. Anyway,
Wow.
let's go.
I don't think I'll play Rainbow Six at this point.
Do not.
I've literally never played it.
The only good one is fucking Tropical Jungle, whatever the fuck, for the original Xbox. I really like that one. It didn't have online play.
Nice.
Oh.
Whoa.
Wow.
Man,
Wow.
Anyway.
I miss Halo Reach.
Yeah. I mean, you can still play Halo Reach.
I can't.
The
I don't have an Xbox.
Master Chief Collection on Steam.
I don't have money.
Fair.
That,
Or I don't have
Well,
money.
that took
I
a
don't have
turn.
money that I can spend on video games right now.
That is fair.
Yeah, neither do I. I've been wanting to get like the Beat Saber DLCs, so I actually want to play that game more. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
but what if I just groceries? I hate having to be an adult.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's annoying.
It's like, oh yes, oh look at these things. I have enough money in my bank account for this. But do I want to eat tomorrow?
Well, it's annoying because like the appealing part of adulthood is that you have agency over your own life. But under late stage capitalism, no one has agency over their own life,
And under
except for the
capital,
bourgeoisie.
correct. There is no ethical consumerism under capitalism.
Or consumption, but correct.
Yes. I don't remember the correct words, but essentially it's hard to be ethical when the system that you are buying through is very much not.
It's hard to be ethics when capital.
Correct.
You won the prize. What? Okay.
Somebody called Mr. Left
I'm
Tube.
gonna be that guy for a moment.
Yeah.
moment. Okay.
What guy?
Fucking. Oh, you should try harder to be more vegan friendly with the things that you buy, because the things that you buy directly affect the numbers going towards the companies that do terrible things in regards to the treatment of animals and the treatment to people in other countries and stuff like that.
Sure.
Okay, it's cool to have that argument, but have you tried being poor and being able to afford vegan friendly things?
This is true, because as someone whose mother is very much vegan, I could tell you that the shit that she eats, while it is very much better than what I eat, is also a ton more expensive.
Yeah.
I will
I
I will be more likely to spend $14 on a package of ground beef that will keep me fed for 2 days rather than $25 on half the portion size.
Oh yeah, like
It's also the
just
fact
because
that
it's
like
more ethical.
like kind of the base populace is getting all of this pressure to change our like small lifestyle choices, which really don't make up a fairly small fraction of what actually makes a difference in the environment. Like the main thing that makes a difference is the manufacturing of the companies who refuse to resort to more environmentally conscious methods.
and also like I was looking, like you were saying earlier, Katie, with the with like ground beef especially. I was in Vancouver and we were gonna make some sort of like hamburger helper alternative with nothing that contains meat or dairy, and that Beyond Meat stuff for like 400 grams of that is like $14.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I went to the grocery store today so we could make tacos out of ground beef, and that $14 got me nearly an entire kilogram. Like it's entirely possible to, convert to that sort of lifestyle, but until it's very much more affordable for the general public, it's not gonna catch on.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went from talking about Five Nights at Freddy's to talking about ethics.
I mean,
There
yeah,
is
we
no
went to a few different places in between, but that's point A to point Q.
You know how it is. Only on this podcast can we jump around so frequently. Like, we jump up, and we get down.
We do that on Hit the Hay.
Go check out Hit the Hay, huh?
Go do it. We haven't released any new episodes for a while because I don't like recording our stuff remotely, because mostly it means me on one mic and then Sam and Emmett sharing a mic, whereas I would prefer for the three of us to just all share my one nice mic.
My hope is in the future, once Katie can get up here, that we do the podcast in one location.
Yeah.
On one computer, recording all of our microphones at once.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
The syncing will be delicious.
Delicious. It is a pain to sync these podcasts a little bit, but it's
So I have found a much better way recently,
Oh.
which is a lot more possible.
we'd love to see it.
And nicer. So, but that involves using our Mixcraft 9 Pro Studio 64-bit build 469.
Nice.
Hey,
which-
nice.
You know,
Nice.
That's
Morgan,
what
say
we-
nice.
Nice, Dave.
That's what we in the industry call a spicy meatball.
Damn,
It-
it really do be like
That is what we call a spicy meatball.
Wow.
And then the credits roll, and the audience laughter, and then the sitcom music. The screen blurs.
Yeah.
It says Fuller House at the top.
Oh,
You know.
God.
Everywhere you are. Everywhere.
It takes a lot to make a stew.
Too many cooks.
Too many
Back
cuts.
in the 90s, I was
In a very
Okay, anyway.
famous TV show.
Damn.
Or the
Anyway,
intro,
okay.
which is just.
It's so catchy, though. Come on.
I mean,
I saw a video of someone trying to play that on a piano,
What?
like at the actual speed, and it's literally they were doing like.
Yeah. I mean, I guess as soon as you get to the like saxophone part, that's a little bit easier. The
Yeah, probably. Anyway,
Jazz.
good times.
good
Good
times
jazz.
indeed.
Are we gonna transition into another topic, or should we call it a night?
It's up to y'all.
It's up to y'all. Who's a y'all? She
You
sounds
all.
cute. Y'all.
It's y'all's podcast.
Y'all's. I feel like we should maybe call it a night here
Probably.
because it's like 5 hours past Morgan's bedtime.
Well, thank you all.
Uh,
Thank you all for watching and/or listening to this podcast. Wherever you listen and/or watch the podcast, you can watch this on youtube.com/JAMAcast, or you can also go to jamacast.cybersoupient.com and listen to it there.
You got the wrong hand there.
Whatever
There
hand
you
it
go.
is.
Wait. There we go. Now we got. Oh, we had it mirrored before.
And
I don't know. For me, my camera is mirrored, so
Yes.
and don't forget to check out our very special guest at the links in the description or wherever they happen to be on whichever streaming service of choice that you like to use to listen to podcasts, because we're basically in most places.
Yay.
hell yeah.
Remember Google
We're in your
Play? It's
kitchen,
not there
we're in your
anymore.
dumpster. We're on Spotify.
Yeah. We're also on Spotify, as well as Jonathan Higgins, Werewing, and Ramen Rejects if you want to listen to any of our music. It's all available
Do
there.
it. It slaps.
It does slap.
It would be slapping though.
Mm.
And of course, we will see you all in the next very, very deep and introspective episode of the JAMAcast.
If you would like to suggest anything for future podcast episodes, make sure to at CyberSoupyNT in the description on Twitter, and definitely tag us #JAMAcast, and we will see what you've got to say. That's words.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namago.
Namaste,
God.
that guy.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Shameless plug. Look
Namaste,
at
hot guy.
TallLankyGuy.